Hey there, this is Rabbit Culture, Narcissist Ninjas, and I bet that was a real tough 1 minute and 28 seconds for you. Just thought I would get you in the vibe of forgiveness, of healing. I know, right? I don't know about you, but sometimes for me, meditation music has the opposite effect. And I get more anxious and more nervous. Now, particularly the flutes, like you just heard, and that kind of thing, I like that. But everyone has their own chill, has their own mechanisms for relaxation. And while one person says, someone might say, go off into the sunset, sit by the water and hear the water. Other people will be frightened to death of the water and will never have a moment's peace. Some people say, go off into the mountains. I'm scared to go in the woods by myself. That's not going to help heal me. So we all choose our own definition of what it means to heal and what it means to forgive. Let me just remind you too. A narcissist loves people who are forgiving. Yes. They love it. They live for people who forgive. They say they will never do it again. Never. They'll change. A narcissist prayer is... actually, let me get a copy of the Narcissist Prayer for the next slide. I'll do that. But for now, just keep in mind that if you're dealing with a true narcissist, the reason they are able to get away with the shit they do is because people forgive them over and over and over again and never hold them accountable. That being said, forgiveness can be a tool and can be a way out of the mess. So this is the Narcissist Prayer that I was speaking of, that goes around in many of the recovery groups and pages on narcissism on the internet, in therapy groups. It's everywhere when people are in recovery from narcissism. And it's a blanket statement about how a narcissist thinks, how they are not they do not feel any amount of remorse often. They don't feel accountable for their actions, and how they continue to repeat. They're like broken records. And what's very it's kind of spooky dooky, is that they're all the same in this regard. You can put a different situation, a different person, a different circumstance. However, narcissists on a whole tend to react the same. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist at all, but perhaps if there was one conspiracy theory that I believed in, is that narcissists are some kind of reptilia that are walking among us, that are some kind of like foreign alien species that all act the same, say the same stuff, repeat similar phrases. There, you can listen. I talk to people in groups that are in Australia, in England, in Africa, and all of their experiences are the same. And all of the phrases that come out of the narcissist's mouth are essentially the same. No, I know they're not some kind of alien foreign objects there, but what it tells me is that there's a condition, a human condition that presents itself in the same mannerisms, in the same behaviors. And it also tells me how rampant it is in society and how epidemic. Yeah, it's another epidemic. And if anything, with this pandemic situation that we have been exposed to, it has unraveled the deep darkness and state of the human condition, which is narcissists against empaths. That's really what it boils down to, and how we all have to somehow live in our society and coexist in a healthy fashion. Narcissists wreak havoc on the world, and we don't have to go far to see the damage. We don't have to be on the internet for long. We don't have to be on the news for long. A few seconds, boom, we're exposed to it. And then, of course, we go into our daily lives and we are exposed to it everywhere we go. And it's a level, it's a matter of depth and how bad is it, not. And I mentioned before in another video that everyone has an element of narcissism within them. And we would hope that it doesn't overpower our empathy. And that's what makes us different from an abuser who uses that narcissistic element to hurt other people. But anyway, this is a common thread of a narcissistic person, is that they do not feel that they are accountable for actions, and your feelings don't matter, and so on and so forth. So like I said, narcissists thrive on people forgiving them, and that's how abusive power is maintained, and that's how abusive relationships are formed and nurtured. The empath, is most often a forgiving, kind person. The narcissist feeds on that. It is rare to find two narcissists together. It does happen. It definitely, I'm sure it does happen. And the chaos is like, whoa, on fire when you see that. But getting back to forgiveness, It's all, again, a personal choice. However, when you're looking at forgiveness in terms of allowing another person to continually behave in a manner that is harmful to you, then you got to take accountability for that too. And you have to look at that and see, why do I believe that my rights or my personhood is not worthy of positive input? You know, why am I not able to put up boundaries? Why are not boundaries not acceptable for me? Why can't I say no? I think these are all questions we have to ask ourselves when the topic of forgiveness comes up. Now, I am going to link a video from Dr. Grande. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. I listen to his videos all the time, but I never listen to how he pronounces his name. He's a YouTube psychologist, but he's not just a YouTube personality. He actually is a trained. He's trained and certified in some aspects of psychology, and I find him very entertaining. He makes me laugh while he's explaining different behaviors and different malfunctions of the human spirit. He does it in a good way, and he breaks things down that a lot of people may find difficult to understand about mental health and different disorders and behaviors. Anyway, so I'm going to link him below as he discusses this very topic about narcissism and if people should forgive narcissists. And no matter what professional ever in your life, no professional actually can tell you what to do. It's a personal choice. It comes down to your own belief system, your own comfort level. He said something about if you forgive, you are at the highest level of healing. I'm not sure I agree with that. Now, is that because I'm not at the highest level of healing? That possibly could be right there, right? But I think it's more that I have my own personal belief system about forgiveness. And when I forgive, it is not about the abuser. It's about myself. I kind of detach myself from the abusers in my past. And I forgive myself for getting in situations, for not understanding what a personal boundary is, for not saying no when I should have, for allowing someone to abuse me. Now, there have been situations in my life where there was no control to some extent, right? So I detach. I have learned, and detachment for me from my abusers of my past has been the most powerful tool for me in my recovery. Don't get me wrong. I don't do it 100% in my daily life every single day. There are times when I have flashbacks. There are times when I have emotions that come up from the past. But for the most part, when I think of forgiveness, I don't think about my abuser. I think about myself and say, shit, girl, you should not put yourself in that. After the first time, boom, you should have been out of there. Run like the rabbit. Mm-hmm.
The ability to forgive is the primary quality of Christ. When someone has a true capacity to forgive and forget and move on, you know that they have a developed Christ flame. The Ascended Masters have taught us that we can avert conditions that really limit us by entering immediately into loving service to life as soon as we understand the law, and by calling forth the violet flame. The violet flame is an intense light and energy which transmutes these past records, for which we are truly sorry and have profound regret that we have harmed or injured.
And for some people, forgiveness is a sense of spirituality, a sense of their own understanding of spirituality. And I would never, ever, ever say that that is not a valid path for people. If they find comfort in that, if they find support and what they need in their church, whatever it might be, that is for them. That is their personal choice. It's not something I choose. The cross. I understand the message of the cross, and I grew up as a Christian, and I read the Bible 2 times, once as a child and once as an adult. And I do have an understanding of what forgiveness means in relation to the Christian Bible. And that is not what I choose to make my decisions based on, but I would never in a million years, interfere with that process. And if it works for a person and helps them feel empowered and stronger and able to make better mentally healthy, sound decisions, then whatever works in that department. I would caution, though, when I look at the Christ-like symbolism, I think we have to understand that I'm not sure Jesus wanted us as humans to be everything he was. Yes, we can be Christ-like, but at the same time, remember, I think he was a cut above the rest of us. He was at that higher level where he sacrificed his life. And even in the end, he had no choice about his sacrifice, right? He couldn't fight back his abusers and his attackers. But his God, did that for him. So, that's a whole lifestyle choice and personal decision. I don't think that the message is from Christianity is to be a martyr and to sacrifice your life for abusers. Now, your interpretation might be different, but I would hope that your religion does not teach you to kill yourself or to allow someone else to kill you. And we look into I read a lot about cults and different mind control games, and there's a fine line between religion and cults. It really is. And I think we all as individuals have to examine where we are with that, especially as survivors from abuse. I think we have something in us that makes us drawn to things that are very cult-like, just because of the way we have been programmed, especially if we were abused in childhood. So we have to, it's almost like deprogramming ourselves, right? And that's a personal thing. And I put a note up here about survivor guilt, which is a big, complex issue too, that I believe often comes with abuse victims of all different kinds, whether you're you're trapped in a family system, you're trapped in a cult, and you get out, you're trapped in a group of maybe human trafficking, and you get out and then no one else does. I mean, there's so many systems that you can come out of and want to recover from. And then you get a sense almost like, damn, it's like, I always explain it as almost being run over by a bus. And oftentimes in my own personal flashbacks, I have that vision. I feel almost like I literally sometimes hold on to something because I feel something's coming and, going right before my face and almost like sweeping me off my feet with the intensity. And that's the way it is sometimes for those of us in recovery. Oh, Lord, I had no idea I could talk. I was said I'm going to do this little video, and I'll do like maybe 10 minutes, talk about it because it was on my mind. And I was reading some article earlier, and it put the idea on my mind. I said, let me do a little video on this. And holy crap, what is this, 20 minutes? I'm very sorry, guys. I hope some, like one person, if you got to the end, I applaud you. And I'm here giving you the Buddhist bow. Thank you. I put a little snippet up here about what recovery means for me on a personal, I put my personal business right here. This is my idea of recovery. Forgiveness is not one of my goals up there. But that's not to say it isn't part of my journey, and it has never been a part of my journey. But what I look to is focus on me while caring for others. However, that the caring that I put into the world is for vulnerable people, for people who care back, and people who respect me. Somebody else can deal with those other people. And unless I have to be put in a situation like in a work situation or some situation where I have no choice but to work with this person or deal with this person, then I will be as gentle as possible, but I will not take abuse. And I only forgive on a case-by-case basis. And the biggest part of my forgiveness journey is within my own soul and my own being. That's where the ultimate forgiveness needs to be. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope, like I said, somebody stayed with me till the end. You're true blue if you are. They're still there. All right. Maybe leave a comment. Who knows? Maybe I'll start this. Maybe I will. I can't say the subscribe thing yet. Not ready. All right. Would love to hear from you, though.